Hello, this is the Stories Beside channel. I release videos every day for you. Subscribe and click the bell. Adriana was spinning in front of the mirror, trying on a new dress. It was the one she would wear on her date tonight. She could already imagine how Stephen would look at her when he saw it. "Mom, it's a gorgeous dress. I'm glad we bought it after all. It really looks good on you, daughter. By the way, I got myself a suit too, so I'll wear it to work tomorrow. And you don't stay up too long today, or I'll wake you up again and you'll be cranky." Well, you know how much I hate getting up in the morning. I know, because you go to bed late and you don't get enough sleep. You can't do that. But how many times do I have to tell you? And now I can't even go on a date. Well, you can, but you can't stay out late. Oh, Mom, you should go on a date too, by the way. You're getting boring. I mean, you're still young. Don't you want to meet someone who loves you? No, I don't, because I've been through this before, and I'm not going to make the same mistakes again. Oh, come on. Just because you had bad luck with my dad doesn't mean all men are the same. Mom, I'm an adult, so you can just forget about me and start living for yourself. You know I won't mind that. Besides, Stephen and I are getting married soon, and you'll be alone. And I don't want that. You shouldn't get married in a hurry. Live for yourself, finish college, get a job. Maybe you'll like another boy. You haven't thought about that. No, I haven't, because I don't need anyone but Stephen. I can't even look at anyone else. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Adriana looked at the clock in surprise and then at her mom. "You're expecting someone?" "No, I thought it would make Stephen come too early. He and I agreed to meet tonight. You know that." "All right. Well, I'll go get it. Maybe Betty's here. She promised to come over a long time ago." Adriana shrugged and turned to the mirror again. Really, how good is she? Adriana thought. Stephen is going to be absolutely delighted with me tonight. Outside the door of the room, she heard Christopher's voice. It was the son of her mom's friend, Betty. "Please lend me the money I need." "What are you short on again?" "Booze. Your mom would kill me if she knew I was giving you money. You know she hates it when you get drunk." "What's the matter with you, Christopher? You're a young guy. Why do you drink with your aunt?" "Kathy, it's just my life. I can't not drink. Things are really bad. My wife left me. I got fired from my job. And my mother's always nagging me. Just give me a little bit, I promise. Just tonight, and I won't drink again. The pipes are on fire. If you don't give me exactly, I'll die today. Don't tell my mother for the last time, or she'll stop being my friend." "Thank you, Kathy. You just saved me. I'm going to look for a job tomorrow." Realizing I can't live like this, Kathy closed the door behind Christopher and sighed. Such a good-looking, handsome, smart guy. But when his wife left him, he started drinking. And within 6 months, he'd turned into an alcoholic. Betty didn't know what to do with him. She even wanted to get him coded, but Christopher didn't want to. He promised he'd stop drinking, but nothing changed. Adriana left the room and looked at her mother reproachfully. "You have nothing to do. Why did you give him money again?" I felt sorry for him. I know it's wrong to do that. But how do I look at him? It seems like he really feels bad. Yeah, they're all lying. You know what people will do to get drunk. So stop helping him, or some of the elite will stop being friends with you. You got it. I'm not giving him any more money. You always say that. The minute he steps foot in the door, you forget everything. I just feel sorry for him. You know, his wife left. He's out of work. Not everyone can handle it on their own. So I'm helping out as much as I can. Betty doesn't understand him in that sense. She won't give him money, yells at him all the time. It's hard on him. I want to help him, but you're not helping him. You're his mom. You're making it worse. Okay, let's not fight today. Just promise me you won't give him any more money, or I'll tell you people what you're doing. And believe me, she won't thank you for it. Okay, daughter, I understand you. Let's not fight today. Why don't you tell me where you and Stephen are going again tonight? 'Cause you know how worried I am about you, right? Stephen's not a bad guy, but you know what's going on in the world right now. Call me and tell me where you are and how you're doing. And home by 12 o'clock, please. Mom, why 12 o'clock? I'm an adult. How many times can you control me? Stephen is going to propose to me soon. You'll see, we'll get married, we'll live together, and you control me like a little girl. You can't do that. Besides, you know how it is. The clubs are just starting to open at this time, and I have to go home. Oh, those clubs. I hear about them all the time. It's all drugs and booze. That's why young people want to go there. And you too. Mom, why do we have to sit on the bench outside the house like old people? Why are you getting so worked up again? Let's talk about good things. We're so nervous today. Okay, daughter, it's up to you. But I warned you not to stay out late. Call me because I'm worried. Kathy went into the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and sat down at the table. She realized she had done the wrong thing herself. How many times Betty had complained to her about how she couldn't do anything about her son, what she'd told him to get a grip on himself and try to reconcile him with his wife. But nothing worked. And now it turns out that she gives him money to drink with her own hands. We gotta do something about that. We can't do that. And if people tell her what she did today, she'll be without a friend. Then her thoughts turned to her daughter, all grown up. She's all grown up now. She'll really get married soon. She'll leave her and she'll stay, Kathy all alone. Of course, she was very happy for her daughter. Especially her boyfriend is not bad, but still something told her. It was probably just female jealousy. She didn't want to say goodbye to her daughter because Adriana was determined that as soon as she got married, she and her husband would live separately. That's the right strategy. That's right. She herself had always wanted to live apart from her parents because she realized it was not a good thing. It's understandable. Parents are older, smarter, have lived their lives. But of course, they think that they can give advice to their children, who, however, want to live their lives as they see fit, not as their parents have lived their lives. At this time, the doorbell rang. Kathy realized that it was definitely Betty coming in. She set the glass down. Sighing, she went to open the door. It was indeed Betty on the doorstep. But you're going to keep me on the doorstep for a long time. I feel like you weren't expecting me today. Or did something happen to you? No, I was just thinking and didn't realize it was you. Oh, come on. I called you. I told you I'd be there. You're always at work. You're always busy. You've got other things to do. She's a businesswoman. Well, of course she is. What did you want? You have to make money. So I'm making money. My daughter's a student. She's getting married soon. It's going to cost us a lot of money. Are you sure you're going to have a wedding? Or is it just an evening? I don't know yet. In fact, I haven't gotten a proposal yet. Besides, I think that my daughter should finish her studies and find a job first. Because family life is not that simple. It's good with Mom. She went to the institute. In the morning came at lunchtime. Everything is ready. He ate, goes to study. But here you have to buy groceries and rent an apartment. And you have to pay for all that. But I've got Adriana. She's smart. She'll manage. Although, Stephen, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a bad guy from a good family. I've already found out all about him. There's a few things wrong with him, but I don't think it's that important. My daughter loves him, and I don't want to go against her decision. They all love each other. And then you see what happens. I don't know what to do with my son. He's taken money again. I see him coming out of the store with a bottle. But that's where he takes it. Tell me, please. I hid everything at home so he wouldn't sell anything. But he still manages to do it. I talk to him every day. But he doesn't listen to me. Is his Christina living with him? Or is he obsessed with her? I can see it. Well, what did you want? A family. They loved each other. And if that's the case, why don't you talk to him or Christina? How long do I have to talk to Christina? It's all the same. I won't live with him, that's all. And she dares to tell me he's an alcoholic. I'll tell you, she made him that way, because my son was never that way. Life happens. Believe me, I think he'll recover, get a good job. What are you talking about? These alcoholics only make promises. I need to treat him. But I have no idea how I'm gonna do it. He refuses to go to the hospital. Anyway, I'm tired. I have no energy left. Well, I just came to talk to you. And we're dealing with my family problems again. Tell me something. How do you keep yourself in shape? Look at me. I've probably gained 15 pounds, and you're still as thin and slim as a birch. I'm invited to a birthday party, and I can't fit into my evening dress. So I thought I'd see you today for that reason. So you could give me some advice. Who invited you to your birthday party? I thought I was your only friend. You are. But don't forget, I have coworkers. I'm not as much of a businesswoman as you are, but we still have some connections. Okay. Anyway, a coworker invited me. We're going to go to a restaurant. So you're saying you have a man? Oh, I'm not saying anything. We're just hanging out. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not old enough to have a man. Oh, come on. It's all nonsense. You're a normal, beautiful woman who has the right to be happy. And then you can still have a baby. You're crazy at 40. No, my son is enough for me. I don't want any more children. Well, maybe you're right. It's risky to have a baby at our age. You better tell me, my friend, why with your job and your position that I still have one. Yeah, you know, I never thought about it. After raising my daughter alone, I decided I'm not getting married again. It's not for me. At that moment, Adriana came into the kitchen. She said hello and winked at her mother. And what is this secret couple you're here to talk about? I understand about men. And who's got one? Mom, talk. What are you talking about? First of all, no one's had one yet. It's just that Betty says she's going to a birthday party at a restaurant. She's been invited. And then there's the whole work thing. And you're already making up your own damn mind. Mom, you're a grown woman, and you're hiding such basic things from me. But can't I see it for myself? Look at Betty. She even changed her hair. And she looks pretty good. It's obvious when a man shows up. The girl knows what's going on. Your mom didn't even notice. Yeah, my mom's been kind of sad lately. I don't know what to do. I mean, really, Kathy, what's going on with you? What are you thinking about? Are you in some kind of trouble? Oh, you guys, I don't have a problem. I'm just looking. My daughter's all grown up. Soon I'll be all alone. It's getting sad. It seems like only yesterday she was a little girl, and now she's getting married. But what's wrong, Mom? Why are you so worried? I'll give you grandchildren to nurse, and you won't be alone again. Besides, it's not like I'm moving to another city somewhere nearby. We'll get an apartment here. We'll see each other all the time. Although you say that now, family life isn't what you think it is. You and your husband will want to see each other. They're with me. Especially after marriage is such a wonderful time, especially when people love each other. So I'm not offended. I understand. I just don't feel good about it. I can't explain the feeling. But Kathy, I don't like your mood. You should be happy for your daughter. And you're just feeling depressed. You can't pull yourself together. Hey, why don't you go to a restaurant? We'll have a good time with me, sit and talk. Tell me honestly, when was the last time you went out? What are you talking about? You're invited, you go. That's exactly where I don't belong. Look, Mom, really, why don't you go? You really haven't gone out in a long time. That's enough. I'm not going anywhere. What about you, Betty? Don't be silly. Why don't we talk about what you're wearing? Besides, don't worry about your weight. You look great. You don't look thin at all. That's what I'm telling you. Just a little bit. Don't even think about losing weight. You're already looking great. If you succeed with that man, then you and I together will look for a man for my mom, because she is very beautiful, and I do not want her to stay alone. Besides, Mommy, but you deserve to be happy in the end. Daughter, why do you think that to be happy you have to have a man around? No, it's not for me. I've made up my mind, and I know I don't need anyone else in my life. Yeah, you can't change my mom's mind. Well, I'll be off then. Stephen's already here waiting for me. Don't worry, I'll be there when the phone rings. It's not too late. Adriana left, and there was silence in the kitchen. Each of the women was thinking about something else. Kathy was so sad again that she didn't know what was happening to her. Lately, this oppressive feeling had not let her go at all. She didn't know what was wrong. It seems like a great job. Colleagues are good. Daughter's doing well in school. Got an apartment, a car. And still, I didn't feel good. Kathy, what are you thinking about all the time? I've been talking to you for 5 minutes, but it's like you can't hear me. What's wrong again? I can tell there's something wrong with you. I don't know. I can't explain the uneasy feeling I've been having for a month. I mean, everything seems fine. And then again, it's like something's wrong. What do you think it could be? Without the baby, it's just stressful. The daughter's grown up, of course. I mean, we want them to be small all the time. Well, it doesn't work that way. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of my wall. And everything's gonna be great with you. Hey, before I forget, I wanted to ask you for that blue dress. I'm really excited about it. I think it's perfect for me. And you know very well I don't have any jewelry. And your ring on your finger is driving me crazy. I love it. Do you have it with you? Yeah, it's a sapphire, only it's a family heirloom. It passed down to my grandmother from my great-grandmother. Then my mom got it, and then my mom gave it to me. I never take it off. The only thing I know I'll take it off is when my daughter gets married. That's when I'm gonna give this ring to her. Well, I see, all right. Do you have any jewelry to go with this dress besides this ring? To be honest, I didn't think it was that expensive. I thought it was just vintage, that's all. No, it is expensive, just not in that way. But you know what I mean. It's expensive. It's a keepsake. And the jewelry, we'll find it. You know, I have a lot of it. So we'll find something. By the way, do you have any shoes to go with that dress? If not, there's probably a problem, because you and I have different foot sizes. Now come on, let's go try the dress on. Listen, what would I do without you? If it wasn't for you, I'd be shopping right now. Because when I opened my closet the other day, I had nothing to wear like any other woman. And I haven't been to the store in a long time. And to be honest, I've fallen behind on fashion. You're the fashionista. Your suits are elegant. Your dress is gorgeous. So I thought I'd ask you for help. Well, you were right to come to me. Besides, I don't wear half my clothes. You come to me sometime. We'll go through these things, but you'll wear them. I'm not comfortable with that. Kathy, I'm just asking you for a dress, and you're trying to throw my whole closet at me. Don't be ridiculous. I said we'll take it now. Because look what I have in my closet. There's nowhere to put it. And believe me, I have the same problem. Nothing to wear all the time. Adriana looked at Stephen, smiling happily. She'd fallen in love with him as soon as she saw him. She pretended not to be interested in him. Stephen pursued her for 2 years, but then she gave in. And now they were always together. He tried not to leave her for a minute. Especially at the Institute, he was always near her. Today he noticed that Adriana was pensive. What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Yes, my mom's been sad lately. I look at her, and there's sadness in her eyes. She's never been like that before. Maybe it's because of me. Maybe she doesn't like the fact that you and I are getting married. No, she's very nice to you. She thinks you'd make a good husband. You know, it's something else. Maybe she's sick. You haven't noticed. No, she doesn't complain about her health. She's always cheerful. But there's something about her that makes me very uneasy, and I can't figure out what's going on. So how can I help you? Antonia, I wish I knew, but I don't know what's going on. So don't panic. Maybe mom's having problems at work. Maybe in her personal life. There's probably a lot you don't know about her, right? No, my mom and I don't have any secrets. We trust each other. I always know if she has any problems. Then I don't know. But you wait a little longer. Maybe it'll all come out, and then you'll realize it's nothing. I'd like to believe that, but I'm feeling a little uneasy. Well, let's not talk about sad things now. Why don't you tell me where we're going tonight? You know, I was gonna ask you to take a walk. The last time I went to the club, I didn't really like it. Yeah, I don't think you did either. Anyway, Adriana, to tell you the truth, I'm not a fan of noise. I don't like all that music. It gives me a headache all day long. To be honest, I realized that a long time ago. I was just waiting for you to admit it to me. I would have told you a long time ago. It's just that you're a girl. I thought you wanted to be in places like this. So I put up with it. Well, you shouldn't have. You can't do that. We have to be honest with each other. And if I don't like it, do I have to put up with it? No, you misunderstand me. It's just that I would do anything for you, just to make you feel good. That's what I realized a long time ago. Just don't be like this anymore. If you don't like something, and if you're worried about something, say it right away. You need to solve such issues quickly, not tolerate for the sake of someone else. Although, to be honest, I'd put up with a lot of things for you too. Let's go to the park. It's so nice there now. We should get a bun on the way, feed the ducks. I've always loved it. My mom used to take me there when I was a kid, and we'd feed them together. They're getting used to it. They get closer and closer. I remember I even petted one, but it flew right away. But I remember that moment for the rest of my life. Are you right? It's really great. I love nature too, especially when my father used to take me fishing. Now he doesn't have time. They complain he doesn't have time. He complains about his health. We don't go anywhere now. But when I was a teenager, we used to do it quite often. My mom wasn't a nature lover. She always stayed home. So we only went on vacation with my dad. I think that's why they're getting along now. Because they always vacationed separately. And that, you know, it doesn't bring a family closer together. But on the contrary, it pushes them away from each other. I promise you that you and I will do everything together on vacation, together to work together. And when you and I have children to babysit, we will also be together. That's wonderful. I love you so much, Adriana. You have no idea. Now let's go to the park before it gets dark and the ducks go to bed. Oh, that's okay. We won't have time to feed them. That's okay. We'll sit on the bench. We'll watch. Couples in love like us and daydream. Listen, Adriana, I wanted to talk to you. Here's something else. My parents want to meet your mother. I've been telling them I want to marry you. I think it's time for them to get to know each other and plan our wedding. How do you feel about that? You take your time, Stephen. I don't think now is the time. Let's finish school first, then get a job, and then think about our wedding. Well, it's so long, we've already decided. Yes, we have. But my mom insists that the wedding should take place only after you and I get a job. Well, think about it. We'll have to rent a place, buy some furniture. It's a lot of work. I know my parents will help us, but I don't want my mom spending money on me. She spent her whole life on me. And then I'll get married and I'll be sitting on her neck too. I don't know. My parents are willing to help us out. They say whatever I decide, they'll always be on my side. But my mom will be on my side too. You're forgetting one thing. You have a full-fledged family. My mom's been dragging me around all by herself. My dad left us when I was very young. And after that, my mom never remarried. She did everything to give me a happy, normal childhood. To be honest, I never even thought about my father, because when I grew up, I realized that I shouldn't think about a man who left his wife with a small child. It means that he is not a worthy man. I'm sorry, Adriana, I didn't mean to offend you. It's true. Sometimes when I meet you like this, I forget that you don't have any. Dad, Mom is really worthy of respect because she did everything to make you a happy child. That's really great, to be honest. I understand your mom somewhere because you think if I have a complete family, we're doing great, but my parents fight all the time. I recently found out that my dad was cheating on my mom, even though she probably knew about it. So, do you think I'm doing well in that kind of atmosphere? I can see that they hardly talk. If they do, it's kind of rude. They fight a lot. And that's wrong. They're cowards. Because if something went wrong between them, they should have solved it much earlier, instead of torturing each other all their lives. Now who needs both of them? Unless some young girl has got my dad's head wrapped around it. Well, it won't be for long. He won't be happy with her. And knowing my mom, she wouldn't go for that. Naturally, she'll be alone. Although, if they'd figured it out sooner, it's possible. In their time, everyone could build their own happy family and be happy. Yes, Stephen, I didn't realize you were so complicated. I always thought you were doing great. But no, it's very sad. Forgive me if I'm wrong about something, but again, you see, your parents love you anyway. If their love is gone, they think about you all the time. And by the way, they only live together for you. Don't you ever think about that? Yeah, sure. But parents shouldn't sacrifice themselves for their children. Because you can see that now. I met you. You're my destiny. I want to live with you. I mean, naturally. I'll leave home and have my own happy family, hopefully. And they'll be alone. That's what I'm talking about. Can you imagine? At that age, they'll realize that they don't need each other, that nobody needs them anymore. That's what I'm talking about. That's the mistake I keep telling you about. It's sad. Stephen, you look at it like that and think, is it worth getting married to hate each other like that? And then you have kids, you start to put up with things and give up things, thinking about who's right and who's wrong and living for the child so that he's the only one happy. I'm scared for some reason. Don't be scared of anything. I don't think it's gonna work out between you and me like it did between my parents. And remember, I'm never gonna leave you. I can't. I'm not like that. I was raised and I love you very much. I couldn't even think of leaving you with a little baby. I'm sorry. I don't know what it was about that man your mom fell in love with. But the way he acted, it's really awful. I know because my mom can still get over it sometimes. Even today, a friend of my mom's who's going on a date came over. She even invited her along. Apparently, there's gonna be more than one man there. So Betty decided to bring my mom, but she wouldn't go. She said she wouldn't go, and that was it. Me, realizing that no one could change her mind. It's understandable that you and I, Adriana, are having, unhappy conversations. Let's just talk about us. I miss you so much, I got a little angry and testy. I'm sorry, I just really want us to be together. I want that too, Stephen. But think about it. I think my mom's right after all. We should finish school first, and then we'll see what happens. And I'll talk to her about your parents too. I think it's time for us to get to know each other. Christopher woke up early in the morning, realizing that he couldn't even open his eyes because of a severe headache. He wrinkled his nose as he thought back to yesterday. The last thing he remembered very clearly was going over to Kathy's house to ask her for money. She gave him a pretty good amount, and he went to the store. Then there were some friends. He was sitting in someone's apartment, and now he was afraid to even think about where he was. With a great effort of will, he opened his eyes and realized that he was at home. He wrinkled his nose again. He realized that he was going to have another hard conversation with his mother. After all, she had seen him yesterday, in what state he had come home. It was going to be nerve-wracking again. He'd start talking about how he was living his life wrong. What could he do if he felt like his life was just going down the drain? He didn't even want to work because there was no one to work for. If he had lived before for Christina, now life had lost all meaning. He got up, went to the kitchen. He was terribly thirsty. Besides, he couldn't avoid talking to his mother anyway. But, strangely enough, the house was silent. His mother must have gone somewhere. He poured a glass of water and drank it down. He drank the second one less quickly, as his thirst began to recede. He opened the refrigerator, but he didn't feel like eating yet. He went back to his room and lay down on the bed. Remembering that he should have had some money left over from yesterday, he grabbed his shirt, but there was nothing in the pockets. His pants were empty too. Had he spent it all yesterday? That's exactly what he couldn't remember. It was a pretty good sum, and he thought he had enough for the morning. But apparently, he had spent the whole sum yesterday or not, or one of his friends, when he was very drunk, had taken the money out of his pocket. Some friends, though, he wouldn't have even noticed them before, but now they're sitting at the table. They sympathize with his problems. He wonders how he ever lived without them. It's a little sobering now. He realized that they're just drinking buddies, and that if he's going to drink any more, it'll be alone. Well, now the question was where to get money for another bottle. There was no work. His mother wouldn't give him any money. Yeah, going to Kathy's after last night was uncomfortable. He got up every morning with these thoughts. He'd never thought he'd be preoccupied with such problems before. What to do and how to live his life. He decided to get some sleep so that with a clear head he could figure out what to do next. At work, Kathy felt unwell again. She began to feel dizzy for some reason and had a strange ache, some kind of incomprehensible throbbing pain. She wrinkled her nose and looked in her purse for pills, but there were none. Then, looking at her watch, she pulled herself together and decided to take a little walk to the pharmacy. It wasn't like the bosses had work to do anyway. She had hers all done so she could afford to leave. Besides, she was on a good account and thought that her absence would not affect her work much, and she would not have any problems. She didn't feel like driving. She decided to just walk. As she approached the pharmacy, her cell phone rang. She picked up the phone and heard her friend's voice. "Listen, I can't find shoes to match that gorgeous dress of yours. What color should I get? I don't have any. Maybe some white ones or Golubenko. How about black? White shoes would go better with this color. Then you'll need something to wear. You know, like a scarf. Well, or take a white handbag. Then it will be very chic. Blue with white looks great. Great, black's not gonna work. But blue won't really go with white either. You know what I mean? And the white shoes. I think you'll find them. But white, I think I will. Listen, Kathy, I never thought I'd be going on a date. It's such a hassle. Why? Did I say yes? I still can't figure it out. She's not being silly. You encounter your first difficulties and you get frustrated all at once. It's just that you haven't done it in a long time. That's why you're confused. So don't worry, you'll do it. By the way, after the restaurant, I demand details. You'll tell me everything, how it went. But of course, I'll come to you first. You know, I've liked this coworker of mine for a long time, but we've been looking at each other all the time, but neither of us made the first step. All of a sudden, bam, he asks me out. You know, my first impulse was to say no, but then I thought, what the hell? Why not go out? I wouldn't lose anything. But what if I could still make something of my life? There's no hope for my Christopher. He came home last night so drunk. I've never seen him like that in my life. Where does he get his money from? Maybe he got a job. Do you think after a binge like that, even if he gets a job, they'll kick him out again? That's a shame. Well, let's not talk about the sad stuff. I'm going to go buy white shoes. When I'm ready, I'll call you again. Kathy was very glad this conversation was finally over. She really didn't like to lie to anyone. She always told the truth, but she couldn't do that here. But how would she tell her friend that she herself had personally given her son money to drink? He would never forgive her for that. And it pained her very much, but she couldn't do anything else. She remembered how he had come to her yesterday so unhappy. It was obvious that he was very unhappy. Naturally, her hand went for her purse. What could she do? She really wished no one would know about it. But most likely Christopher himself would sooner or later let it slip. Then she'd have to explain herself to her friend. Of course, they might be fighting, but she would do anything to ask her forgiveness and make up with her again by buying pills at the pharmacy. If you're worried about me, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm very aware of what's going on. But like you told me the other day, we'll see each other. It's not like you're moving to the ends of the earth. We're gonna live in the same city. So what's the problem? Adriana realized that it was better not to talk to her mother on this topic, and she hurried to change the conversation to another direction. Mom, well, let's go to dinner then. I've already heated everything up and cooked it. They walked into the kitchen together, and when Kathy opened the cupboard, she saw that the bread was out. Yeah, you warm it up, daughter, you warm it up. She didn't realize we were out of bread. Okay, Mom, let me run out real quick. No, I'll do it. By the way, I skipped almost half a day of work today. Something happened. I just had a headache. I had to get some fresh air. And now I've got another headache while I'm driving through traffic. So I'm gonna go to the store to get some relief. Well, I'll set the table for now. But the Manti, you quickly do not linger, because I'm terribly hungry. Kathy left the apartment and already headed towards the bakery. It was not far away. They always got hot bread or other pastries there, depending on their mood. The streetlights were already coming on. Kathy walked quietly, looking around. Finally, the bakery. She walked in and breathed in the smell of freshly baked bread. She took 2 loaves and was about to pay when suddenly she heard a familiar voice nearby. Aunt. Kathy. Hello, how are you? It was Christopher. He looked terrible, of course. I could tell he was sick again. Christopher, how can you sing like that? Did you even feel sorry for your mother? You don't know how ashamed I am that I gave you money. Besides, you know how long we've been friends. She's so worried about you. I couldn't say it. To say I gave you money. Well, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to go to work today, to go. Yeah, I couldn't. I had a headache. I don't know what to do. If you think I'm supposed to help you, I can't help you today. I'm embarrassed enough in front of your mother. Why do you say that? You know very well I won't say anything. Christopher, don't you realize that whether you say anything or not, I don't care. I'll say this, and I'll say that. But the fact that you don't just love your health, you love hers. Have you thought about that? She cares about you. She feels bad about you drinking. Better get a job, and you'll see. And she'll come right back. Because they'll see that you're okay. What do you even understand? Kristen is not coming back to me. She left me. She fell in love with someone else. So I drink. It's good for you to talk like that. You don't have that problem. You know, you're not the only one who's been dumped in this life. Everybody's been dumped. You just have to know how to take a punch. My husband left me too, with a small child. But I was smart enough not to get drunk and move on. But you're a man. You're stronger. It's good that it happened to you. But it's easier to do nothing. To complain about life and wallow in your grief. You try something different. Christopher, you'll make it work. I hate all you teachers so much. What about you? What about my mother? I say I feel bad. You understand. But you don't believe me. You think you've lived your life, don't you? Like hell I do. Everyone has a life. And everyone lives it differently. If you don't give me money, I don't need your handouts. That kind of aggression made Kathy uncomfortable. She didn't even realize what she'd said that offended Christopher. It's all true. They all didn't like him drinking, but she wouldn't let him treat her like that. And you, Christopher, don't be mean to me. You've got the wrong girl. I didn't expect this from you, of course, but now I'm telling you to stay away from me and don't come home either. Whatever happens to you now, I'm no help to you. I thought I could do better. You don't care. Live your life as you like. It's your life. I'm not gonna give you any more advice. What, you think I can't live without your advice? Yes, I can. So calm down. And in general, once again, I hate you so much, I'm ready to do it myself. I will never see you again in my life." Kathy didn't say anything else. She realized that Christopher wasn't himself and that this could end badly. She paid for the bread. She turned around and went home. Her mood was badly ruined, and it was just plain unpleasant. Besides, she had never done anything bad to her best friend's son in her life. Always tried to help. What had gotten into him? She couldn't figure it out. Well, if he didn't want to communicate, let him not communicate. Betty was a pity, of course. It was her child, after all. Anyway, a mother always worries about her child. And here it is. "Mom, what's wrong? Your face is gone. Did someone hurt you?" "I ran into Christopher at the store. He's sick again. He asked for money again. He was rude to me too. You know, it's kind of embarrassing. I don't mean him any harm, but I feel like he sees me as the enemy. He sees everybody as the enemy now. You know what his situation is, don't you? The man won't pull himself together, but it's not our fault. Of course it's not our fault, but we feel sorry for him. You feel sorry for him again. He's rude, and you feel sorry for him. That's enough. Let's go to dinner. Take the bread. I'm not having dinner tonight. I don't like it. I'd better go to bed. I've had a headache all day. It doesn't feel right. Mom, maybe you should go to the hospital." "Well, if the headache doesn't go away, I probably will. Now, if you'll excuse me, you go on and get some rest. I'm gonna go to bed." The next day, Kathy felt more or less well. Betty called her again in the afternoon and said she would definitely run over to their house to tell her the news. Kathy was happy for her friend and thought that the date must have been a success. "I dropped off your dress, and it turned out to be a lucky one." "Okay, I won't say anything yet. I'll tell you in person. It's pretty clear you're doing great. You have no idea. I'm so happy for you. Honestly, I really didn't think I'd be this happy at this age. You know, Kathy, it's a good feeling. I'd forgotten what it could be like. Well, all right. I'll see you tonight, just like Betty promised. I stopped by a friend's house. Well, I'll have a cheka for Liege." "Yes, sure. I'll pour it. Come on in. You can't imagine how gallant he is, can you?" She started talking right away. "Plus, he told me he's liked me for a long time. Although, to be honest, I've liked him for a long time too." "Aha. That's right. You were like two adult fools who liked each other but couldn't say anything. I'm right. That's how it works. Anyway, we realized that yesterday and we decided we need to stop running away from each other and get closer. So are you gonna live with him?" "Well, no. I've decided we're just going out for now. But we'll see what happens. But there's a little bit of a catch. He wants me to live with him. I'm afraid to leave Christopher alone in the apartment. Do you know what state he's in right now? I'm afraid that one day I might be without a home. I'm afraid he'll drink it all away." "Oh, come on. I don't think your Christopher would do that. Besides, as far as I know, the apartment is in your name. He might keep the apartment, but he'd take everything out of the house." They both fell silent after that. What can you really say? It's scary to even think about it, and even more so to hear it. It's good that you have a girl. Can you rely on her? The guy's a mess. I never thought I'd have to suffer like this with Christopher. I must be being punished for something from above. I don't know. I've never done anything bad to anyone. You've got to get those thoughts out of your head. Because if you think like that, you're gonna get hurt. I think you're gonna be okay. And Christopher will come around. In the meantime, you better get on with your personal life. And then you and your coworker can talk some sense into your son. By the way, what's his name? You're a coworker and a coworker. Oh, really? I never introduced him to you. His name is John. We'll be seeing him again soon. Well, I'd like you to meet him, of course. And if I do, we'll come by your place sometime. I'll call you before we do. But if you want to do it on neutral ground, then let's make it like we met by chance. And then I'll introduce you anyway. Oh, come on. Why are you going to extremes? You can come to my place. We'll have a cup of tea, sit and talk. You know very well that I'm always home after work. All right then. I'll call you before I come over. Hey friend, why do you have such black eyes? You don't feel well. I've been feeling bad lately. My eyes have been hurting all the time. Nausea. And I don't know about the headache. I've never had a headache as bad as I have these days. It's noticeable. But I think it's time for you to go to the hospital. If you thought it was nothing at first, you'll see you need to see a doctor. Yeah, I know, but I don't really want to go. I hate hospitals. Who likes hospitals? I'm always holding out until I'm really sick. Doctors are always cursing at me. What can I do if I don't want to go to them? They're always such a hassle. Betty and Kathy talked some more. Then, seeing that her friend had another headache, she decided to go home. Well, it's just like we agreed. Anyway, I'm calling you, giving you a heads up. And John and I are coming over to your place. I'll introduce you to him. And by the way, he has a friend who I think would be great for you. Come on, Betty. You know damn well I don't want anyone. And let's just drop the subject once and for all. If I feel that I still want to live like any other woman with a man, I'll let you know first. Okay, all right then. Now get some rest, and tomorrow I want you to go to the hospital, because I'm starting to fear for you. You don't look so good. Kathy was already thinking of going to the hospital first thing in the morning. Her head was hurting so badly, and she wasn't prepared to put up with that kind of pain. But when she got up in the morning, she realized that she felt pretty good again. She decided not to go anywhere, packed up and went to work. She hadn't seen Adriana much lately. She was preparing for a session, and as far as Kathy was concerned, she and Stephen were preparing together. When she called her, her daughter told her that they practiced more often in the park because there were few people there during the day, and it was a pleasure to study in nature. Adriana had been feeling uneasy lately. She couldn't explain the feeling, but the uneasiness hadn't left her until spring. Several days in a row she had bad dreams. Stephen could see that something was going on with his girlfriend. He asked her several times what was going on, only he never heard a clear answer. I feel like you're hiding something from me. You can't do that. Remember, you and I agreed not to hide anything from each other. Stephen, I'm not hiding anything. It's just that I can't explain what's happening to me right now. You know, something's bothering me, but I can't understand what's happening to me. It's probably just you worrying about exams. I know, it happens to me a lot too. It's fine. Don't worry. You know you'll pass. But Adriana realized it wasn't about the session. It was something else. And her mom had been worrying her a lot lately. She wasn't complaining about anything. But at the same time, it was obvious that she felt very bad. She had lost a lot of weight in just a couple days. Her face had shrunk a lot, and there were bruises under her eyes. I'm still very worried about my mom. Maybe it's her. Really, I ask her what's going on with her. She just keeps saying she's fine. But I don't believe her. Your mom's a strong woman. I think if she says that, she's fine. Although maybe it's the fatigue that's making her sick. How long has she been on vacation? I don't even remember my mom taking a vacation. Aren't you right, Stephen? I'll tell her to take some time off. Although I know she's not going to take a vacation right now. That's fine. Talk to her. Let her get some rest, and you'll see she'll feel better. And you know, I'm gonna call these people. She's definitely backing me up right now because I was listening in the kitchen the other day to her telling my mom that she doesn't look good. The first thing Adriana did when she got home was to call her mother. She could have done that earlier. But even in the morning, she realized that she had left her phone at home. But her mom didn't pick up and was apparently busy. So she dialed her mom's friend's number. Betty picked up the phone and anxiously asked Adriana what was wrong. Betty, hi. Yeah, nothing's wrong. I just wanted to talk to you. But thank God, I was beginning to think it was. You see, lately I've been worried about your mom. Something's wrong with her, even though she told me she went to the hospital and they said she was fine. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I'm very worried about it too. I want my mom to rest for a couple of days. Maybe you could come over today and we could talk to her together. She needs to rest, but she won't even hear me. She says there's nothing wrong with her. Okay, Adriana, I'll be sure to come by today. You know, that's a great idea. You're doing great. I think the two of us can talk to her. After that conversation, Adriana felt a little better. She decided to clean up the house and make a nice dinner to please her mom and get in the mood to talk. Kathy walked into the study and pulled out her cell phone. She had left it in her purse because in a meeting where she had been in for almost an hour and a half, it wasn't worth coming in with it. There was a call from her daughter and someone else. She wanted to call back, but her eyes went black. The pain in her head increased again, and she passed out. She woke up in the hospital. How had she gotten here, and what had happened to her? She had no memory at all. When she turned her head, she saw someone in a white coat. "Excuse me, can you tell me where I am?" "You're awake." "That's fine. I'll have a doctor come and answer all your questions." "Adriana." He looked at his watch. Mom should have been home a long time ago, but she wasn't. She wanted to call her aunt. When she called her auntie herself, "Adriana, your mom's in the hospital. Get ready. I'll pick you up and we'll go together." "Okay. How's the hospital? What happened to her?" "Don't panic. I don't really know anything. So let's get there as soon as possible. We'll know right away. Nobody told me anything." Adriana was in a panic. Her premonition told her that everything that had happened to her in the last few days was not in vain. The main thing was that nothing would happen to her mom. The main thing was that she would be okay. The car with Betty, Adriana, and a man in it was quiet. No one was talking. Everyone was thinking about their own things. Adriana prayed quietly, realizing that if anything happened to her mother, she wouldn't survive it. They were not allowed into the room right away. They were told that the doctor was there. He would first do his own examination and then tell them whether they could visit the patient or not. Adriana strongly disliked this, but Betty calmed her down as best she could, saying that there was nothing they could do now anyway. Adriana, of course, realized that it would be much better this way. She would just have to be patient and wait. The most important thing was that Mom was healthy. "Adriana, don't worry, your mom will be fine. She's just probably overworked a little bit, and everyone needs to rest. Only your mom didn't understand that. Well, she'll realize that's not right. She'll stay in the hospital for a while. Calm down, get better, and everything will be fine." "Do you really think so? Because lately I've been thinking my mom's been sick a lot. I asked her, but she wouldn't tell me anything. I think she was probably hiding it from me. And you don't know anything about it." "I don't. Your mom's really good at keeping secrets, but you see how that turned out. Even though she didn't tell us anything, we're about to find out for ourselves." Soon the doctor came out of the room. He looked at Adriana, then at Betty. "It's Kathy. I wouldn't recommend going in to see her right now. She needs her rest. My mom's in there, and you have no right to stop me." "I want to see her." "All right, you can go in and see her." "And who are you?" "I'm her friend, a close friend. We've been friends for a long time." "I see, let's go to my office. And you, young lady, you can stay with your mother for a while." Adriana entered the room, not knowing what to say and noticing that she was scared for some reason. For as long as she could remember, her mom had never been sick, and she couldn't even imagine her mom in a place like this. "Mommy, how are you feeling?" "Oh, Adriana, mine's here. It's okay. Sweetheart, don't worry. You have a session ahead of you. You shouldn't be here. Do you need to study?" "Mom, what are you talking about? You think I can study while you're here?" "You can, of course. Do you understand? The doctor told me it's fatigue. I should have taken a vacation a long time ago, but I kept putting it off. And now this is what I got. But it's okay. I'll be out of here in a couple days. Don't worry about it. I'm sure I will." "Well, that's good then. And I promise you that I'll do my best in this session. Don't forget, I'm going for a red diploma, so I'll be fine. And Stephen and I already got jobs. His father recommended us to his management, and they said they need young people. I'm so happy for you, daughter, that you're doing so well. Now go on, kid, get some rest. You got some tough days ahead of you. You know that, right? And I need to get some rest. Mom, I'll come over with Stephen tomorrow. That's okay. No need. Please study. You have exams in 2 days, and I'll feel bad if you're with me all the time. Why don't you just take the exams and then come to the hospital whenever you want? Adriana realized it was better not to argue with her mother right now. And why make her nervous? She would come to her tomorrow night anyway, report to her, say that she had done everything, that she was ready as a replacement. At home, put away the flowers, took her to dinner, cooked something. And Mom will feel good right away. Betty sat in the doctor's office and did not know what to say to what she had just heard. Viktor Sergeyevich poured her a glass of water, handed it to her and said, "Only she asked me not to tell anyone about her diagnosis at all, especially not to let her daughter know. But I realize that it is impossible to keep silent about such a thing, so that those close to her would be ready for her departure. Believe me, there's nothing I can do. If she'd come to us, like 6 months ago, I think we could have saved her. But now, alas, there's nothing we can do. The disease is progressing like a hurricane, you know." Betty nodded. What she had just heard was a shock to her. How would she be without Kathy now? What about Adriana? Wouldn't she freak out when she found out? Of course she wouldn't say anything to her, just as she had asked Kathy to be there for Adriana, realizing what lay ahead of her. After all, losing a mother, especially to a daughter, is a very scary thing. After she left the doctor's office, she walked to Kathy's room. She didn't go in, realized that Adriana was still in there, but how would she go in to see her later? She just couldn't bear to burst into tears, and she would realize that she knew about everything. That would only make it worse for her, so she decided not to go in today. She just sat down and waited for Adriana. Soon she came out. "A little loot, will you be stopping by?" "If I have to, it won't take long." Mom said she wanted to sleep a little. "That's fine, let her rest. But you'll be at the institute tomorrow morning anyway, so we'll take turns visiting her. Now let's go. We'll take you home with John. 5 years. What did the doctor say?" "He told me what's going on with her." "Yeah, he told me there's nothing wrong. It's just your mom's a little fractured." At this point, Betty didn't know where to put her eyes. She didn't know how to lie, and she realized that if Adriana looked at her now, she would know right away. "Betty, you're certainly not lying to me. Mom's really going to be okay." "Of course your mom's strong. She'll be fine. Now let's go. You're tired. I've had a lot of stress today. We should get some rest. And to be honest, I was pretty freaked out today." "You're right. I didn't realize it was so scary. Illness is always scary. Adriana wouldn't wish it on anyone, especially when it's your nearest and dearest." Betty arrived home and went straight to the kitchen. She didn't know where to put herself. She had only one thought in her head: to drink something, so that she wouldn't think about anything else. But she didn't have any alcohol in the house, and even if she had, Christopher would probably have drunk it long ago. He was home tonight, as luck would have it. Betty hadn't talked to him much lately. What was there to talk about? It was clear her son didn't want to change his life. "Why are you like this?" "Something wrong. Something happened. Kathy went to the hospital." "Why worry about it? I was sick a while ago too, but you didn't even treat me." "She said I'll be fine. She'll be fine." "I see. She doesn't have much time left. Maybe a month, maybe 3 days. And don't you talk to me like that. Ungrateful." Christopher gave his mother an angry glare and went back to his room. "I'm actually waiting for you to go finally from this apartment to your hole, because I can't see you anymore," he shouted from his room. Betty sat down at the table and covered her face with her hands. She no longer paid attention to her son. His words didn't move her at all. She was hurting for Kathy. She couldn't even imagine that soon she wouldn't be with her. What if the doctor was wrong? Kathy, she's strong. She'll pull through. At least for her daughter's sake. That thought felt good. It warmed her soul, and Betty went to her room to go to bed. Tomorrow she would visit her, talk to her, tell her that they all hoped for her and that they wanted her to get well. Adriana and Stephen left the institute and walked towards her house. She lived not far away, and she liked it very much. Her mother had bought this apartment with the expectation that kindergarten and school would be near, and it turned out that the institute she wanted to go to was also close by. Adriana was also nearby. Stephen, you'll stay with me for a while. And then none. I think it's no fun to keep my mom in my head. I'm so scared for her. I know when my mom got sick, I almost went crazy too. I remember that for a long time I resented my father, who never even came to visit her in the hospital. He only called her on the phone. That's weird. I saw your dad. He seemed like a very nice man. And your mom's a wonderful woman. And when you start talking about your family, I can't believe how bad they are. Yeah, no one does. I know why love happens. Because they don't have it for each other. That's all. It was a mistake not to split up, because then they wouldn't have tortured anyone else. Well, I'm tired of telling them that. Let them deal with it. We went to see your mom today. Of course we did. Even though she told us not to visit her, Betty came to the hospital to talk to her friend. She'd been up all night, thinking about the right thing to do. Should she tell her friend she knew everything? Or like yesterday with Adriana, hide everything? In the morning, she realized she still hadn't decided what she should do. After calling work, Betty scrambled to get to the hospital. Opening the door of the room, she looked at a pale Kathy, who was no longer asleep but staring pensively out the window. Her heart twitched, but Betty pulled herself together and decided not to show her that she knew everything. What's up? Hello, friend. You gave us quite a scare last night. I can't do that. I'll tell you too. You should have seen what happened to us last night. Kathy turned her head and smiled. And there's no need to be scared. I'm fine. Just a little overworked. A little to you, maybe. But for us, the whole thing was, frankly, a blow. As soon as I got the call from the hospital, I almost fainted. Good thing John was there to get me some water. I can see you're doing great with John. I'm very happy for you. He just proposed to me. I wanted to tell you yesterday, but you didn't have time. I'm happy for you, Betty. Do you deserve it? I think you're gonna make it with him. How's Christopher? He's just as bad, even worse. He's become completely unbearable. He walks around the apartment angry. Doesn't do anything, doesn't go to work. It's a nightmare. I feel sorry for the guy. I don't know what happened to him. It's like he's been replaced. I mean, he's never been like this before. I don't know, Kathy. I don't know what happened. Did he love Christina so much that he can't get over it? Okay, why are we talking about me? Yeah, it's about me. Why don't you tell me how you're feeling? I'm fine. I'm really feeling a lot better. The doctor said I need a couple more days and then I'll be discharged. Betty almost cried. She knew what Kathy was talking about. Of course they would, because the doctor had told her yesterday that they couldn't help her. That's fine. Then when you're discharged, you and I will go to John's cottage. I've already been there. You can't imagine how beautiful it is there. We'll get some fresh air and relax. You'll love it there. Okay, let's go. I'll go. In the evening, Adriana and Stephen came to visit Kathy. Though she asked not to come, she realized that in this case her daughter obeyed her, although she was very grateful to her for it. After all, she loved her so much and had likely seen her last days. Good thing it wasn't a friend, not her daughter. Didn't know about anything because she didn't need their tears. Mom, you're not mad at me for listening to you. I've been studying with Stephen all day, so I think it's okay that we came. Really? Besides, I really miss you. I'm not used to not having you around. It's okay. I'll be out of here in a couple days. I hope you have a good session. Everything will be fine. "Mom, Betty called me today and said you're going to the country and you want us to come with you." Stephen and I agree. "Well, that's great. We'll have a good time, and the fresh air will do you good. You haven't been out of town in years, have you?" "You're right, daughter. This will really do me good." They never went to the cottage. Kathy died a week later. She hadn't even been released from the hospital, even though she wanted to be. Adriana lost track of time. Everything was a blur, and the thought that her mother was no longer with her, she didn't know what to do next. It was good that Stephen and Betty, who was just as worried as Adriana, were there for her. Those were hard days. Christopher did not understand how he should go on with his life. His relationship with his mother had soured completely. And with her friend and Kathy, who had always helped him out, he had ruined the relationship himself. He couldn't understand what had gotten into him. It was like he was possessed. He'd lost all his friends lately. They'd all turned their backs on him. He realized he had to do something, but he couldn't do anything. He tried to win Christina back again, but it was too late. She had actually met a real man who loved her and whom she loved. Seeing that he was not succeeding at all, he started drinking again. It seemed to him that then he was relieved that the problems, even if for a short time, but go to the background. But the relief was short-lived. As soon as the effect of the alcohol passed, the longing came over him again. Once again, he did not know what to do next, and he was again looking for money to go to the store. The stores would not lend him any more money. If earlier still went towards the sellers, well, who knew him well, now all everywhere was a refusal. That day he sat at home. He thought again that he should get a job, but lately it had been useless. Apparently, it was already obvious from him that he was drinking heavily, and no one wanted to get involved with him. At that moment he heard the door slam and his mother crying. He jumped out of the room to see what happened. "I knew it. You shouldn't have messed with that guy, your coworker. He's the one who hurt you." Mother looked at him and turned away. "What's wrong with your eyes again? You don't see anything." "Nobody hurt me. It's just that Kathy's not with us anymore." "What do you mean?" "No? What, moved away?" "No, she didn't move away. She just died." Christopher couldn't believe what he was hearing. He never would have thought Kathy would leave. I mean, she's so young. She's got her whole life ahead of her. And now this. "Mom, calm down. I can do something to help." But Betty wouldn't calm down. She still couldn't believe what had happened. It was out of line. For the first time in her life, she didn't know what to do, how to behave, where to go. But then, remembering Adriana, she pulled herself together, realizing that this girl needed her now more than anyone. She started to get dressed again to go to her. "Mom, where are you going?" But Betty didn't answer anything. "I'm going with you. I don't want to leave you alone like this." Adriana couldn't believe that her mom was no longer with her. She didn't know what was happening, who was with her. She only felt Betty, who had been by her side almost all the time. "It's okay, sweetie. It's going to be okay. Trust me, your mom's in a much better place right now." "How is she better?" "After all, the doctor said it's nothing serious, that she's just overexcited, tired. You don't die from that." "I'm gonna sue them for ruining my mom." "The doctor, it's just that Kathy asked us not to say anything, but your mother had cancer. Terminal, which had already spread through her body at breakneck speed. There was nothing you could do." Betty didn't have the courage to tell Adriana that she knew everything, that the doctor had warned her that Kathy was quite ill. She realized that if she told Adriana that she knew everything, the girl would not forgive her. Kathy was brought home briefly so that she could say goodbye. All the neighbors knew her. Everyone loved and respected her. She was a wonderful person. And so Betty and Adriana decided to make sure the neighbors had a chance to see their neighbor off on her last journey as well. Christopher navetted as people come in and out and wondered what else he could do to help. Mom didn't pay any attention to him. She was constantly by Adriana's side. He woke up from his thoughts and realized that there was no one in the room where Kathy was lying. So he decided to go in himself and apologize for the time he had hurt her. He walked closer, and a beautiful ring caught his eye. It was antique and looked very rich. Kathy had never taken it off. It was obvious that it was very expensive. The thought immediately flashed through his mind that this ring could solve all his problems. He would pay off his debts, which he had already accumulated a lot. He would clean himself up. He would leave town for a couple of days, and then he would come back with new strength and would be able to get a job. After all, Kathy didn't need that ring, but he could use it. He didn't know what came over him, but he went over and took it off her cold hand. Kathy. A week after the funeral, Christopher decided to sell the ring. He went to an acquaintance of his who bought up such things. "Hello, Robert. I'm here to see you. What do you need me for? Because you know very well I don't lend money. Besides, you still owe me. I thought you weren't gonna show up. Yeah, I'm not worried about the case. Look what I brought you. You can buy it." Christopher took out a ring and showed it to Robert. He looked at it carefully and said, "You know very well that I don't buy stolen goods. That's what you're telling me. That's all you do is buy stuff up. And you used to not care if they were stolen or not. This ring is fine. I didn't steal it. So don't worry. It's my mother's. She doesn't wear it. And she doesn't want to wear it. She doesn't like it. I just thought it'd be wasted if I prayed on it. And I need the money now. Don't you talk to me like that. Any woman would love a ring like that. And believe me, she'd love to wear it. So, I repeat, I'm not taking it. I feel like you stole it. And I don't want no trouble with the law. Why don't you go to a pawn shop and turn it in? Maybe they'll take it. I don't think so, because they'll ask you for IDs. And if it comes out that it was stolen, they'll find you." Christopher felt uncomfortable after saying that. He thought of Adriana, and if indeed she will remember about him, only as she will remember. She did not remember about him then, and now even more so. After all, she thinks he was buried with his mother, so there shouldn't be a problem. "Oh, that's great. Thank you for the advice. I just came to you as a friend, thinking you'd take it from me. But if you don't have to." Christopher could see that Robert was hesitating after saying that. "Let me see the ring again." Christopher handed over the ring, already mentally happy that he finally got rid of it. Besides, it was starting to bother him lately. He started dreaming about Kathy. She didn't say anything to him in his dreams. She just looked at him with a kind of pity and longing. And that look would make him wake up in a cold sweat. "It's a really nice ring. I'm sorry, Christopher. I'm not gonna take it from you after all. I don't know. It's kind of cold. And I don't feel like if I buy it from you, I'll get in trouble, and I don't want that." Christopher sighed. He was sure Robert would take it after all, but he refused. So he took the ring and drove back. On the way, he thought about where he could put it in the pawn shop. For some reason, after what Robert had said, he didn't want to go. He didn't know why, but he was getting scared. His heart began to pound, and it seemed as if he had committed some crime for which he would have to answer sooner or later. He saw a pawn shop and decided to go there. But it was as if something stopped him at the door. He turned around and went home. The ring was in his pocket, and he did not understand how to get rid of it. A kind of fear settled in his soul, clammy, cold. What to do now and how to be? Christopher did not know at all. The thought of throwing it away flashed through his mind. But greed got the upper hand, and he decided to think hard about where he could sell it. In the evening, he went out again. He didn't understand what was happening to him, but he couldn't stay at home, especially when his mom came home from work. Christopher could not look her in the eye. It seemed that she would guess everything at once. He went behind the house, where he saw his acquaintances, with whom he often socialized. They were always meeting there. "Hello, Christopher. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while. What's going on with you? You haven't been in touch with us at all. Did you get a job again?" "No, I just haven't said hello lately. So you've been holed up at home. Well, that makes sense. Well, sit down. We'll pour you a glass. For old time's sake." Christopher drank a shot and looked at his friends. He felt a little warmer. Then he decided to ask if they knew where to sell the expensive thing. "Why do you bother? Just take it to a pawn shop. Pawn shops check it out. And if it's stolen, they'll find it right away." "No, you have to take it to an antique dealer. Kevin, he likes expensive things. Plus, he does everything right. Buys up everything. But he never gets caught. He'll give you a slightly lower price, though. But that's okay. You'll have money." "Is the stuff real?" "It's expensive. Yes, one ring. My mom doesn't like it. She doesn't wear it. So I decided to sell it to a pawn shop. Take it to your mother. Even if she notices it's missing, she'll know it's you. She won't have to report you to the police. And show us the ring too. We'll take a look. Maybe it's not worth it to Kevin. He only likes antiques. There's a reason they call him the antique dealer. Not with me, but he left it at home. I'm not going out with such an expensive item. I was just thinking where I could sell it to get good money for it. But I'll go to that tomorrow then. Kevin, I think he can help me out." "All right, guys, thanks for the tip. I owe you one. So as soon as I get my money, I'll come straight to you." "Well, then we'll be waiting for you. Don't forget your friends." Christopher went home, and on the way he thought that tomorrow he would definitely go to Kevin. He knew where he lived and thought that he would definitely buy this thing from him. 3 months passed. Stephen drove up to Adriana's house and sighed. After Kathy died, Adriana had said right away that the wedding would have to be forgotten for now. Stephen realized that she was right, in fact, because it was no time to be happy. What saddened him was that after Kathy's departure, Adriana seemed to have lost the joy of life. Today, as soon as he entered the apartment and saw that she was crying again, "Adriana, well, that's enough of the heart-wrenching. You realize you're only making your mom worse with your tears. Besides, I remember you telling me that your mom didn't like it when you cried." "I know. I just dreamed about her again today, holding out her hand to me, saying something I didn't understand. Maybe she's calling me to her." "Oh, really? Did your mom love you that much? She would never have asked you to come with her. You know that. She only wants you to be happy. You probably just didn't understand her." At that time, the doorbell rang. Stephen looked at Adriana in surprise. "You're expecting someone?" "Yeah, it's probably Betty. She knows it's my day off. She's probably here with John to see me." Indeed, as soon as Stephen opened the door, he saw both Betty and John. Lately, he had become involved with the man, realizing that people were lucky to have him. He was a very kind man, understanding, and it was obvious how much he loved Betty. "Stephen, it's good to have you here. Adriana can't be left alone yet," he told him quietly by the door. "Betty goes crazy when she has a day off. She's afraid for the girl. How is she today? How long have you been here?" "Just about 10 minutes ago she was crying again. Said she was dreaming about her mom." "Poor girl. We'll cheer you up. Let's go to the country house. The weather's beautiful. I think you should get a little change of scenery. It'll do us all good." "I agree with you completely. As long as Adriana agrees, we'll talk her into it." They entered the room and saw that Betty was already talking to Adriana. They listened to the conversation, and there was nothing in her hand. No, she didn't. Besides, she showed it to me not palm up, but the other way around, and there was something glinting on her finger. And Betty wondered. She didn't understand what could be sparkling on Kathy's finger. Besides, what it could even mean. Then it hit her. She remembered their conversation when she was going on her date with John. And to that blue dress. "You won't give me your ring, you have it with the chauffeur. I mean, it would go perfectly with that dress." "No, I can't give it to you. It's a family heirloom that's been passed down from generation to generation. And when my daughter gets married, I'll pass it on to her. I hear your mother had a ring on her finger. Remember, with that blue sapphire. I always liked it very much. And your mother never took it off. She told me then that she was going to give it to you when you got married. You saw it on your mother's hand. Well, of course, she never took it off. No, at the funeral. I saw it on her hand. I don't remember, Betty. Believe me, I didn't have time for that. I'm sorry, girl, that's not what I meant. The men listened to the conversation, and when John realized what they were talking about, they said she didn't have a ring on her finger. That's exactly what I remember. Everyone looked at him, trying to figure out where it might have gone. Adriana, why don't you look through Mom's things? Maybe it's in there. She probably wants you to wear it, but there's no stuff. You told me to give them all away so I'd have nothing left in the house. There's her costume jewelry and some gold jewelry, but it's still in a box in her room. Come on, let's go check it out. Maybe she put it there. And now she wants you to take it and put it on. They went into the room and took out the box. When they opened it, they realized the ring wasn't there. I don't get it. So she never took it off. Then where did it go? Maybe the hospital took it off her and then forgot to give it back to her. That's when Stephen stepped in. I remember when we took the body from the hospital. I remember the ring clearly. And then when we brought her home here, I didn't notice it then. But I did, John said again, and I remember perfectly well that there was no ring on her hand. Everyone fell silent. Everyone was thinking about where the ring might have gone. If you think about what Stephen John had said, it worked out. The ring had gone missing right here, when Kathy was in the house, and when the neighbors were saying goodbye to her. How could that have occurred to her? It's crazy to steal a ring. My God, nothing is sacred at all. What are we gonna do now? It turns out my mom is telling me to find that ring. Is that what it looks like? How so? Where am I supposed to find it when I don't even understand or know who could have taken it in the first place? All right, girls, let's go to the cottage. I think we could all use some fresh air right now. And then we'll see what we can do next. John agreed. On the way to the cottage, they were silent. Adriana was the first one who couldn't take it. Betty, how are you doing up there? How's Christopher? I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know what's going on with my son. He's gotten a little weird and skittish. At night he screams and moans, but at least there's one thing I'm glad about. He seems to have stopped drinking. It's good that he quit. It's about time. He's a big, smart man, and he's gone downhill so fast. I'm sorry, Betty. It's not your fault, of course. It's just that sometimes boys really need a father more than a mother. But don't be nervous. I think it'll get better. He'll get your head on straight, and everything will be all right again. You don't think I understand, do you? Yeah, I think he needs a girl. He'll love you when everything falls into place at once. It's just a shame that no one will love him. Who needs him now? Don't worry, he'll recover quickly. The main thing is that he finally realized that it is impossible to live like this, and that he needs to change everything radically. It was beautiful at the cottage. Adriana and Stephen went to the river. Betty said that they should take a walk while they were cooking dinner because both of them were pale and didn't want to eat. That won't do. And Adriana, try not to think about anything right now. Take a little rest, enjoy nature. You'll see you'll feel better right away. Good one, Betty. I do feel better. Come on, Stephen, to the river. It's beautiful there. They walked in silence, holding hands. The river was really beautiful. They sat down on the bank and looked at the water. It's true that growling is soothing. That's for sure. Listen, Adriana, I want to talk to you. Let's just move in together. I realize we don't have time for a wedding or any fun right now. What I propose we do is we apply and register. That's it. And we can get married later, whenever you want. I just want you to understand that I can't be without you. I want to be around you all the time. And when I think of you alone in the house all the time, my heart bleeds. Are you afraid for me? I feel fine at home. I'm not afraid of anything, because I realize that nothing terrible will happen. My mother loved me very much. I understand perfectly well that she protects me now too, as she did when she was alive. But I will think about your proposal. Answer I'll tell you tomorrow, well. I just don't feel like thinking about anything at all right now. Stephen did not argue. It was enough for him. They spent the day beautifully. In the evening, they decided not to return to the city, but to stay the night. They built a fire, sat around it, and reminisced. I remember Kathy was taking me out on a date, said at the time that I would succeed, that I was worthy of happiness. I didn't believe her at the time. I thought that at my age, nothing would ever work out. But she was right. I'm so happy, it's scary sometimes. I didn't even know Kathy. I realized then that she was a wonderful person. It's a shame she didn't have a decent man by her side. She loved my father very much. And when he left us, she realized she didn't need anyone else. We talked to her a lot about it, and she said that she had never met anyone like him in her life, and she didn't like anyone else. It's just that your mom was a one lover who fell in love with one man once and for all. Only he didn't realize it. By the way, did you ever hear from your father again? No, he never came back into our lives, and he never visited me. So I have no idea where he might be. To be honest, I don't feel like talking to him, because to apply a woman like my mom to another, well, only a man weak, maybe. Although, I could be wrong. But your mom would have accepted him. Trust me. Sometimes it seems to me that she waited all these years, only believing that he would come back to her after all. Christopher woke up in a cold sweat again. It wasn't funny anymore. Kathy was dreaming about him every night now. No, the dreams were not scary at all. But for some reason, Christopher felt very bad after them. At first, he couldn't understand. Why did he feel so bad? And then he realized. It was just a guilty conscience about what he'd done. Kathy asked him in his dreams to give the ring back to his daughter, but he couldn't do it. And tonight, he had the strangest dream of all. Kathy advised him to take the ring to an antique store. She said that if he did that, he would be fine. And then lastly, she said that if he did that again, his life would go downhill. Finally waking up, he drank some water and thought about the fact that Kathy had given him some kind of chance that he just had to take. He also remembered well her last words, that if he did that again, all was lost. And he had decided then that he would do exactly as she had told him. The right thing to do, of course, was to give the ring to Adriana, but he couldn't do that. He realized that then no one would understand him, and everyone would turn away from him. He clearly remembered the store Kathy had shown him in his dream. He had never seen it and thought it was probably just a fantasy, but he decided to check it out. The next day, he decided to walk a little and look for something similar in those antique shops that he knew he had already been to. But no one bought the ring from him, which, by the way, he was very surprised. He thought at the time that it was some kind of reservation, and after another refusal, he wanted to get rid of it, but he couldn't throw it away. He didn't realize where he was going. People were walking around, hurrying somewhere. He was walking, thinking that he must be going crazy. If he didn't find anything today, he would probably just go to Adriana and give it to her, and then whatever happens there. Suddenly, he was interested in an unremarkable sign that said it was an antique shop. He went in and offered the ring. They took it from him and gave him a very nice sum of money. He could not believe that he finally got rid of the ring when he left the store. He realized that now everything would be different for him, and that he would start his life anew. The image of Aunt Kathy flashed through his mind. She was smiling, and he realized that she was just helping him once again, as she always did. After Adriana had agreed to Stephen's proposal, he had perked up. They applied, and he then decided to buy a nice ring. Since they were now engaged, it took him a long time to figure out what kind of ring to get her. Adriana was generally indifferent to jewelry. She had told him then that she would wear only one engagement ring on her finger. But some feeling pushed him to buy her something unusual. He didn't know where he got the idea from. That day he was driving to work through the center. When the sign of an antique shop caught his eye, he decided to go in, even though he was sure he was doing it for nothing, because he probably wouldn't find what he wanted there. When he entered the shop, He looked around and realized that everything had turned out as he thought and decided to leave. But suddenly he saw something unusual. When he came closer, he saw a ring, sapphires. It was beautiful. He liked it at once, though it seemed familiar for some reason. He could not remember where he had seen it, but he had no doubt that he had found what he was looking for. 15 minutes later, he walked out, smiling happily. For some reason, he thought Adriana would like this ring very much. Adriana calmed down. She didn't dream about her mom anymore, and she had a taste of life again. Recently, they had talked to Betty again and had come to the conclusion that they had probably buried the ring with Kathy. Understandably, everyone was upset that day, and it probably seemed to John at the time that there was no ring. You know, we were talking about it the other day, and he's not sure anymore. He says it probably was. It was just his head spinning. He could have imagined it. It's no big deal. I get it. My mom didn't tell me anything about it. She just knew it was passed down from generation to generation, but I didn't think she'd give it to me. Well, if that's the way it happened, it's okay. And I'm not mad at my mom. Yeah, that's understandable. Adriana, your mom wanted to live. She made plans. She thought she could still make it. Today, Adriana had guests at home. They weren't very many, though. John, Betty, Stephen, and his parents are coming. They'd decided to celebrate the engagement quietly, just as a family. Betty arrived early to help Adriana set the table. But my goodness, you're about to get married. Oh, that's great. I'm glad things are working out for you. Stephen is a very nice guy. I think you'll be very happy with him. I think so too. By the way, where's Christopher? Isn't he coming? No, he got a job, you know, on a rotational shift. He left. He calls me every day, says he likes everything, and that he'll come home soon, but not alone. He met a girl and fell in love. Oh, I'm so happy for him. I think he'll be fine now. He says hello to you and congratulations. He's very happy for you. And you give him my regards and congratulations. I'm very happy for him too. It's great when everything is good. Betty, thank you so much for not leaving me. You're like a second mom to me. If you weren't here, I don't know what I'd do. You don't have to say that, Adriana. You know you're the closest thing I have to a mom. I know how you felt when Kathy was gone. I felt it, too. It was very painful. Now let's talk about you. It's the kind of day you're going to stay at your place, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere. My mom signed this apartment over to me a long time ago, so there's no problem. And we don't need to rent now that we have our own place. You're right. It's nice to have a place to live. I've decided to give the apartment away too. Let him live there with his girlfriend. I moved in with John a long time ago. We're good together. Oh, I'm so happy for you. John is a very nice man. Soon the guests began to arrive, and everything was ready. Stephen was a little late, stuck in traffic, but he arrived soon after. It was obvious that he had prepared some kind of surprise, but he didn't say anything to anyone yet. After everyone sat down at the table and congratulated the young ones, Stephen smiled, stood up, and took out a box. Adriana, I know very well that you are not very fond of jewelry, but for your engagement, I have to give you a ring. I've been thinking and choosing for a long time, because I really want you to wear it always. And I think I've chosen it. Look at it. I think you will like it very much. Adriana took the box, smiled at Stephen, and opened it. But the smile immediately disappeared from her face. She turned pale and almost fainted because her eyes even got a little darker. Stephen grabbed her elbow, seeing how she had woken up so far. Adriana, what's wrong with you? You don't feel well. And Adriana couldn't get a word out because her mother's ring was lying in front of her. Betty ran over to Adriana to help her. And when she looked at the box, she almost fell too. She grabbed a chair and started to fall. This is when John joined in to help his beloved. No one could understand what had happened. Everyone looked at Adriana and Betty in surprise. When everyone felt a little better, the first question was to Stephen. where he got the ring. He explained in detail where he had bought it. He added that it had looked vaguely familiar to him at the time too. So it turns out it was stolen after all. But by who? How could this person do such a thing? Everyone had already decided to go to that antique store to find out the details and find that person. But Adriana refused. "Betty, why go anywhere? I don't need to go. Just let it stay that way. I have the ring, just like my mom wanted me to have. I don't want to know about the rest. I don't want to know about the rest. We don't know what will happen when we find out. Maybe it will only make things worse for all of us." After some thought, everyone agreed with Adriana. She was happy. She even felt relieved. After all, her mom really wanted her to have the ring. After all, family traditions should not be broken, and this ring should be passed on from generation to generation.